Welcome to Reinvent Yourself, the best awareness and self-improvement channel on YouTube. Today's topic is why you are not masculine and 9 reasons you don't use your masculine energy. In today's video, we will discuss 9 reasons why you are not masculine. Let's jump right in. Men nowadays are more terrified than ever to act like strong, grounded men and be manly. They try to hide this fear by succeeding in their careers, concealing the fact that they are having difficulties in their social and intimate relationships by hiding behind a shroud of status symbols. Number 1, you're a victim of nice guy behaviors because you don't have enough positive male role models. Your father probably wasn't the best example like mine wasn't. He wasn't the solid, well-balanced man you desire to be. Through his example, he unintentionally taught you that being a man means accepting a life of service and appeasement, devoid of real purpose, power, and adventure. He didn't lead a passionate, courageous, or exciting life and wasn't a member of a strong community of men. Your father, like the majority of men, was either the prototypical nice guy who taught you to adopt those same patterns and behaviors, or the contrary, a bad boy who unintentionally taught you to be a kind guy because you wanted to rebel and be nothing like him. This is not meant to belittle your father. After all, he probably did the best he could with the resources his father provided. Here are some signs you are not masculine. You can find it difficult to treat ladies, particularly attractive women. You may have a hard time defending yourself in a fight. In order to not upset anyone or cause any issues, you might avoid or postpone disagreements. You lack the skill to politely assert your wants, so you keep a lot of internal dissatisfaction bottled up, which occasionally bursts out in an uncontrollable fit of rage. You're a decent guy who takes actions to convince others of their value. Healthy and genuine masculinity are demonized in today's society. We've taught guys to be submissive because of the fundamental issues with toxic masculinity. Instead of combining these energies to become whole, fully integrated, grounded men, we've encouraged men to reject their male edge and rely solely on their feminine nature. It is more crucial than ever for men to rediscover their masculine energy, since it is the final piece needed to advance in life, particularly in romantic relationships. Too many men let their nice guy tendencies ruin their lives by prioritizing the needs of others, struggle to assert themselves to diffuse conflict, unable to establish and uphold appropriate boundaries, and refusing to place their own goals, aspirations, and desires above those of others. The final effect is a life of remorse, a decline in one's worth, and a covert animosity towards people that use you with little to no gratitude. Number 2, you lose all respect, value, and attraction when you give women your masculine power. Men nowadays are not showing up for the women in their lives. Women are in desperate need of the manly edge that men once possessed. These days, males are afraid of being too masculine because they are terrified of their own darkness and aggressiveness. They hide it and choose to behave a nice guy, people-pleasing and approval-seeking ways rather than learning to embrace and control it, both personally and in the way they deal with women. Modern men frequently feel weak, helpless, and castrated by a hyper-feminist culture and the women they seek for intimacy and connection with. If he's single, he finds it difficult to be present in social situations, repressing his desire for romantic closeness and acting dishonestly out of fear of being rejected in hopes of being liked, or being a decent guy who would wait his turn. And do you know if he's married or engaged? He sees control to her, signaling the end of connection and intense intimacy, and lets her take charge of their relationship and even his life. He isn't much more than a walking ATM for her, not a leader, confidant, or protector. She reluctantly accepts a cash dispenser in exchange for a sporadic, uninteresting love life, and these actions leave you vulnerable to women's whim. She owns you and stops respecting you. Therefore, there can be no attraction or romantic desire. You both understand that you are powerless in the relationship. Because of the way you are acting, she treats you like a little boy, unconsciously conveying to her that he is a weak man who cannot be trusted. A physically large man with little inner strength. One of the top turnoffs to women, makes her feel insecure and uncomfortable. Most guys are unaware that women are as baffled, irritated, and worn out by the charade as you are. Women don't want a partner that acts like a doormat. They don't want someone who willfully submits to and bows down to the feminine in order to appease them. Number 3, without a clearly definable purpose, you pursue money. The majority of men think that their only goal in life is to maximize their financial gain, that their level of wealth determines how valuable they are to themselves, and that the only acceptable response to the inquiry, "What do you want?" You certainly make money, even very good money, beyond the fundamental level of accomplishment. However, the income no longer inspires or excites you as it once did. By letting you go through the motions and numbing yourself with vices without understanding what you're doing or why you're doing it, it merely eases your developing sense of being purposeful. You go through life unconsciously, following the crowd to earn more money, and for what? Working long hours, sacrificing your personal life, and saying no to the things in life you really want. The majority of guys aren't prepared to stand back, examine themselves, and ask, beyond financial success, what do I really want out of life and relationships? Because you haven't completed this labor, you toil even harder, believing that more will solve the problem. You devote all of your limited time and energy to work in the vain expectation that one day the money you make will finally prove your value as a man and make you feel enough. Number 4, you need to talk about intimate relationships with someone other than your divorced or single friends. If you're looking for the profound fulfillment that comes from a higher degree of intimacy, passion, and connection with women, listening to your friend whose own relationship history is a stage 4 natural disaster, who has divorce lawyers on speed dial, won't help. The majority of males are jaded, resentful, and angry with women. After a string of failed relationships, guys begin to believe the myth that there must be a fundamental flaw in women, instead of realizing that the issue may be with the way that they are approaching women. You cannot take counsel from someone who has not attained the outcomes you hope to accomplish. To put it simply, nothing, and I mean nothing, will have a bigger influence on your fulfillment, success, and happiness than the woman you decide to spend the rest of your life with. Happiness isn't found in adding another zero to your bank account. Rather, it's found in a rich reservoir of experiences shared with someone you love and feel a strong connection to, who feels the same way. If you are getting value from the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Number 5, real masculine accountability is something you lack in your life. You comply when a strong, grounded man with unwavering conviction asks you to. You will do all in your ability to fulfill your word when you tell someone you deeply respect that you intend to do something specific because you do not want to let them down. Being a man of your word is in our male nature. You are violating your word and your bond if you promise a solid, grounded man that you will do something and then you don't. Are you a man to be trusted if your word is worthless? Can women even have faith in this man? When a guy is held accountable by someone he respects much, he sharpens his concentration and takes the necessary steps to achieve excellent outcomes, even when it's terrifying and nearly impossible. You can't run away. You cannot be modest. You can't continue to live with the justifications you've long suppressed. More significantly, you cannot hide behind a miserable and unlived existence by ignoring the aspects of your life that aren't functioning and relying on an outward appearance of success. You'll be motivated to take action by the disappointment you experience after disappointing someone you hold in high regard. You receive a severe reality check at that time. Number 6, because you lack the freedom to fully and fearlessly express your truth, you keep quiet and hide. Every man has the innate need to be free, yet strangely to appear to be in control. Males frequently lock themselves inside cages. When inside you're suffering and are barely holding it together, you pretend to be a strong man and have locked your emotions behind. Others fail to notice this. The picture-perfect life is all they can see, along with achievement, external recognition, and a phony grin and other such things. They only see what you give them permission to view. They are blind to the reality. They don't notice the battle you're going through, the overwhelming sensation of inadequacy, the worry that you're about to get divorced, break up with your partner, or experience chronic loneliness or a crisis. You accepted the nonsense. You stoically ignore and repress your feelings and desires because you believe the myth that big boys don't cry. And you persuade yourself that the only way to deal with extreme terror is to remain silent. When a man does this, he closes off a portion of his heart and transforms into a robot, programmed by society with little to no traces of life, turning himself into a shell of a person he could have been. Exposure to your greatest fear renders it powerless, and the fear of freedom fades and disappears. Men with emotional disabilities become aloof, irate, impatient, and cynical, and in the worst cases, violent. When a man is cut off from his heart, he also cuts himself off from the outside world and lives alone in a silent cave, his gloomy thoughts hidden by his outward accomplishment. He is imprisoned in a jail built in his head without ever recognizing that he is both the prisoner and the warden. Number 7, you're navigating life without reliable male support and enduring friendship. I'm not referring to your coworkers or clients who occasionally go out to a pricey steak dinner or share a drink with. Rather, I'm referring to men who will stand by you and allow you to speak your mind. There is so much more to life than working. exercising, and binge watching TV, social media, and adult websites. The most perplexing aspect of the human condition is how lonely we can feel, even in the midst of a sea of superficial acquaintances and ties. The majority of men, particularly successful men like you, live their entire lives without having real male friendships. They have a ton of acquaintances, golf partners, beer pals, gym partners, work colleagues with whom to close more deals, but they don't have any deep, unfiltered male connection. They muffle their truth till it is so quiet that they themselves can hardly hear it out of dread of criticism and invalidation. For people to be emotionally free, alive, and healthy, they must connect on a deep level. Number 8, the only person who can tell if you are playing small in life is you. Men in our society have come to believe that they are succeeding in life as long as they can make a good living and keep up with the Joneses. But most men overlook the fact that playing small has applications outside of the world of money. That's a portion of life's pie. You can be the finest in the world at what you do professionally, a leader in your sector, a multimillionaire, yet still perform well below your potential in life. But if you don't pursue the life you really want, if you don't cultivate love, connection, and intimacy, if you don't add danger, adventure, and aliveness to your life, if you get up every day doing the same thing, then something is wrong. You're missing out on a lot of life if you don't cherish the one you have as you work for your lofty goal. If you're not anticipating the day with vigor, engaging in social situations, and having fulfilling connections, then, although you're winning the war for your career, you're losing the war for your independence, happiness, and quality of life. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. You are playing small if you aren't passionate, purposeful, and filled with a deep sense of inner power about your life. Most guys focus all their energy on their careers and then wonder why their personal relationships and quality of life are suffering as a result. Number 9, you'll miss out on the best years of your life if you continue doing what you've always done. You must choose something at this point. There is just one reason why you watched this video all the way to the conclusion. You have had a powerful resonance with the topic. Your life can be going well from the outside. However, the fervor, desire, and strength you once had all faded. You've been sleeping and are oblivious to the potential of your life. Perhaps you're striving for more, and overworking has left you feeling alone, lonely, and depleted. You may have pursued success for years or even decades, and now, when you retire for the evening, you find yourself asking, is this truly it? The fact is, I'm not entirely sure why you're here right now. I have no idea what suffering you are going through. I have no idea what difficulties and frustrations you are currently experiencing. But here's what I do know. A life unlived and fulfilled with regret is the price of passivity, accepting a life you don't love, ignoring the true issues in your life, and carrying on with the same dysfunctional mindset and approach that got you here in the first place. Nothing will change tomorrow if you don't decide to change and decide to take new steps today. As time passes, the issues you are currently dealing with will become worse. Your sanity, relationships, and a sense of happiness will gradually begin to deteriorate. And years from now, you will wish you could go back in time and start over. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.